Hello everyone. Welcome to Memorial Art Gallery's Asian Pacific American Heritage Month's virtual celebration. Today is the second day of this 5-day celebration series. And today we have a Hamamatsu-Rochester sister city committee showcasing a Japan culture. Hamamatsu, Japan and Rochester are international sister cities and they do many kind of exchanges, especially a cultural exchange. Today, we have a Lisa Svengsouk, Jocelyn Svengsouk, and Jefferson Svengsouk presenting various flavors of Japan. Hope you will enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jefferson Svengsouk, Chair of the Hamamatsu-Rochester Sister Cities Committee, and I'm so happy to be able to spend the day with you today to talk about Japanese culture and Hamamatsu and the Hamamatsu-Rochester Sister Cities Committee. The Sister Cities program was started in 1956 by President Dwight D. Eisenhower to encourage people to have better communications, to get to know each other better, and to engage in programs for each other's mutual benefit. The Hamamatsu-Rochester Sister Cities Committee was started in 1996, and Hamamatsu is a wonderful city in Japan, Shizuoka Prefecture, which has a lot of special things. It is known as the City of Music. It is where the headquarters of Yamaha is based, and Japan's Instrument Museum is based in Hamamatsu as well. We're going to next go to the Memorial Art Gallery to look at some artifacts and some artworks, and we'll see you over there. So here we've got a great example of a 4-tiered Mariware food container, also from Japan. It's about 300 years old, and you can see the stacked layers that you could store your food in. Nowadays we have food containers that are made of metal, plastic, and things like that. So this is really beautiful. Why don't we go back to the studio and we'll show you how to make some delicious gyoza.
Hamamatsu City in Japan is famous for its special gyoza, or dumplings, and we were so lucky to enjoy the Gyoza Festival in Hamamatsu in the fall just before the pandemic. I'll bet you've never seen a dancing gyoza mascot before.
Hi, my name's Lisa, and I'm going to show you how to cook gyoza. Gyoza are Japanese dumplings, and you can buy these in the Asian grocery store. You can make your own. We've done that before. It is a little bit of work, so the ones from the grocery store are delicious also. And these are vegetable gyoza, and you can get many different kinds: shrimp, pork, chicken, all kinds of different gyoza, but we're going to make the vegetable ones today. So when you cook these, you want to cook them frozen. There's no need to defrost. So the first thing I'm going to do is heat up my frying pan. And while that's heating up, I will say that you don't need to use a nonstick pan, but it certainly is helpful. You can make the gyoza in the microwave as well. You can also deep fry them. There's instructions on the back of the package of how you can make them other ways, but this is really the most delicious way. So we're gonna put in a little bit of oil. I'm gonna use avocado oil, which is flavorless. You can use any kind of oil you like. I wouldn't use olive oil though, because olive oil has a very low smoking point, which means it's gonna burn more easily. So avocado oil, peanut oil, canola oil, any of those are good. All right, so you can see I really did not use a lot of oil. And we're gonna continue to let that heat up. Depending on your stove, I would put it on like medium high. And one of the reasons you don't want to defrost the gyoza is because when they defrost, they're going to start sticking together. You do want to be careful because they do have some ice crystals on them, and when oil and water meet, they're going to splatter. So we're going to put the gyoza down. I'm actually just going to pour them out into the pan and then flip them. Looks like they'll all fit. You can hear it's already sizzling. And I'm going to turn the gyoza so that their face, the flat side is down. Actually going to use my hand before it gets too hot. It's a lot faster. Spread them out in the pan. You don't want your pan to be too crowded. And what you're doing is really just getting a little color on them. So we'll just go ahead and let them cook a minute. Just move them around, make sure they're not sticking. Let's check, see, look at the nice color on the bottom. With non-stick pans, you really have to be careful not to overheat the pan. It will ruin the non-stick coating. So look at the pretty color on the bottom. Okay. And then when you're satisfied with the amount of browning, you're going to add a little bit of water, or you can use broth. So I'm going to get my lid ready because, again, once I add this water, it's going to splatter a bit. So just a couple tablespoons of water, and then you're going to cover it. And it's going to steam them. All right, let's take a look and check how they're doing. You can see they softened up a bit. I'm going to add a little bit more of the liquid. Let them cook a little bit more. And cover it. If you do decide to use broth to cook it, I would use something with low sodium because that's all going to evaporate and it's going to concentrate and it can be salty, and we are going to make a dipping sauce. So while those are cooking, I'm going to turn the heat down. I'm going to show you how to make a dipping sauce. It's really, really easy to make a dipping sauce. So I'm just going to take a little bit of soy sauce. So you can, however much dipping sauce you want to make is how much you're going to use. You pour in some, I'm using a low sodium, less sodium soy sauce. So I'm going to just pour in a little soy sauce. So that's probably maybe 2 tablespoons. I'm going to add in, this is rice wine vinegar, and this is seasoned rice wine vinegar. So you add a little rice wine vinegar, and I'm going to add a little bit of water. And it's optional if you want to add sesame oil. Sesame oil is so aromatic, and it makes a great flavor for the dipping sauce. I just add a touch of it, and then that's it. You can add a little sugar to it as well if you like. So let's check the gyoza and see how they're doing. The nice thing about cooking vegetable gyoza is that you don't have to worry about the internal temperature being a certain amount because you have meat in there. So there's nothing raw in here that you have to worry about cooking to a certain temperature. So look at how beautiful that color is on the gyoza. I'm just going to turn them over. You can see that they're actually really soft now. That one was broken. This one is a half of a gyoza. They look really good. And they're pretty much done. So let's give them a try. I'll turn this off completely. We'll put them in a pan, on a plate. There you have the gyoza, all nice. It's nice and kind of crispy on the outside, but inside is soft and tender. And we're gonna let those cool for a minute before we eat them. We don't want to burn your mouth. So in the meantime, I'm gonna show you how to make kid-friendly chopsticks. So first I want to show you that in a lot of the Asian grocery stores you can find these cute little chopsticks. It's basically a little animal that has under the feet you could stick chopsticks. So you can get these, and these are great training for using chopsticks. So you can get these and practice with these using chopsticks. But I'm going to show you how to make chopsticks for kids if you don't have those, and it's really easy. So you have your restaurant chopsticks, okay? There's different sizes. I'm going to show you how to do this. You take them out of the paper. And you break chopsticks apart. Okay, these are nice and polished. Sometimes if they're stuck together at the bottom, you go like this to make sure there's no bamboo little splinters on there, but these are only stuck together at the top, so you only just separate them. Then what you do is you take the paper that they came in. So you don't want to just shred this up when you rip into it. You want to keep it in one piece, and you're going to roll it up. So I'm just going to roll this up. Okay, here you just have a piece of paper. What you do is you're going to stick this between the chopsticks, okay, just like that. And then you're going to take a rubber band and you are going to tightly wind it around the chopsticks, just like that. And now you have chopsticks, training chopsticks to use in the restaurant with just a rubber band and the paper that the chopsticks came in. So it's a great little trick. All right, so let's try our gyoza. I'll get this broken one here. And I have this little soy sauce dipping bowl. So good. It's nice and soft inside, and the dipping sauce gives it just the right amount of saltiness. It's perfect. So I hope you enjoy making some gyoza, and go buy some in the grocery store.
Right here here we have an example of a covered tea caddy made out of ivory. It is quite remarkable. Most of the tea caddies that I've seen from Japan are made of lacquerware and also very beautiful. So this is quite unique. Tea is a really important part of Japanese culture, as well as something that's really delicious to drink. We're going to talk more about matcha and how to make it in different ways. Hamamatsu is in Shizuoka Prefecture, which is one of the major producers of green tea in Japan and one of the best. So you can get some really good tea from Hamamatsu. Okay, let's talk about matcha, or Japanese powdered green tea. But first, I'd like to introduce you to some friends. Here is Ieyasu-kun, and here is Naotora-chan. These are the two official mascots of Hamamatsu City, and they have been having a great time experiencing Rochester. So here they are. They're going to go over here now while we make some matcha. So matcha is powdered green tea. It's grown specially under shaded sunlight to give it its particular flavor, which is a little bit more astringent and vegetal, but delicious because of that. And there's some equipment that you need to do this. One piece of equipment that you really need is called the chasen. The chasen is this bamboo whisk that helps you froth up and mix the matcha, because it doesn't dissolve very easily by itself. So this helps you do that. This measuring scoop is called a chashaku, and this is used for traditional measuring. You don't really have to use this. You can use these measuring spoons is what I'm going to use for most of this. What you'll also need is a little strainer, a little mesh strainer, because sifting the matcha will help get out lumps that will help you mix it into the water better. So it'll be really important to get the right temperature too, because you don't want boiling temperature water, because if it's too hot, it'll pull bitterness into the flavors of the tea. So you want it a little bit colder, 175 degrees Fahrenheit or 80 degrees Celsius. And one way of doing that is taking your boiling water, which I'm going to grab here, and if you pour the water into a cup first, that will help absorb some of that heat energy and bring it down to the right temperature. And just to let you know, this cup is made by a ceramic artist, Peter Pincus, who is a Rochester artist, and he has amazing work, as you can see. Let's put some matcha into this tea bowl. So I have different tea bowls that I'll be using, but I'm going to use this glass one just for demonstration purposes, so you can see what I'm doing. Here's some matcha, and for our cup of tea today, we're going to get a half a teaspoon of matcha. If you use the chashaku, it's going to be 2 scoops, and that equals half a teaspoon. So we'll do 2 scoops of this, and we're going to sift it into the bowl here. And just to check our temperature, I'm going to use this instant read thermometer and see what we get in our temperature here. And we're getting 145 degrees about, which is colder than 175 degrees, but that's okay. The temperature of the water can be colder, but you definitely don't want it hotter. So we'll put in half a cup of water. And then you just kind of swish back and forth like this. And Look at the nice frothiness that's appearing in the matcha there. And this is how you make a traditional cup of matcha. It's beautiful. Now, one thing I should also add about the matcha. Now, the matcha is supposed to be drunk right away, but before I drink it, because of its astringency, traditionally, sweets or Japanese sweets or wagashi are served right before you eat the tea. So we got these at one of the local Rochester Asian groceries, and these are called mochi, or rice cakes, which have fillings in them. So we got like this, well, I'll put them out right here. You got this pink one, you got this greenish one, and then this really green one. And I'll cut them open so you can see. Try to. The mochi is made of oh, that's very interesting. So the mochi is made of glutinous rice that has been pounded into a paste. So these mochi have red bean or black bean filling. So just so you can see what it's like. So interestingly, this matcha one has some other stuff in there too. So yeah, so usually you'll start out with eating one of these sweets. Good. And then enjoying the matcha. Oishi, or delicious. So, okay, so there is the traditional matcha. I'm going to move this aside. Let's make a matcha latte. We will need a cup for the matcha. And there's different recipes that you can use. I'll try to make one that seems to be kind of the simplest, to me at least. So you need two teaspoons of matcha, and there's different grades of matcha. So the matcha that I used here is what we call like a medium grade matcha. There's like high grade matcha, which is very, very flavorful. That's used for like ceremonial purposes. And there's something called like kitchen grade matcha, which is perhaps a little bit more like stronger flavor. Perhaps not as like refined as the higher grade ones, but for latte, that's actually a good thing. You maybe want a little bit more flavor. So we'll put 2 teaspoons of matcha. We've got our strainer there. We'll put 2 teaspoons of matcha into the strainer, and we'll sift that in there. Sifting matcha. We really want warm water for this. Again, we don't want boiling hot water, so we're going to put 2 tablespoons of warm water in. 1, 2, and get our chasen, and we'll whisk that up. This is going to make like a kind of a slurry because there's not as much water as we did for the regular matcha. So we'll mix that up in there. So I can kind of see what that looks like. And next I'm going to, this cup was made by Rochester potter Kyle LaSalle while he was working on his Master of Fine Arts at RIT. And so he gave this to us. So this is made by Kyle LaSalle. Anyway, so I'm going to put this aside for a sec. I'm going to get some oat milk. You could use oat milk. You could use coconut milk, almond milk. You can use like cow milk too, but the plant-based milks are probably healthier for you. So we're going to get a cup of this, and I'm going to put it into this cup here. Let's see. Let's do this one. So, a cup of oat milk. I'm going to put that in this cup. This cup is made by ceramic artist Masa Sasaki in Atlanta, and it's so fanciful. I love his work, the alien on there. So we're going to put this in the microwave to warm it up. So I'm just going to pop it in here. All right. So that was in the microwave for a minute. We have our 1 cup of oat milk. I'm going to put. Got to do this. So let's froth this milk. So there's different ways to do this. You can get these specialized frothing milk frother gadgets. We're going to use a regular old whisk. So we will pour the oat milk into this bowl. And start mixing. And in terms of heating up this oat milk, we didn't want it too hot, because just like the water, we don't want the temperature to cause all these bitter flavors to come out of the matcha. Now look at this. It's like, look at this beautiful froth here. This is amazing. Okay, so let's pour this into the matcha. Wow. Look at that. Look at this whisk, maybe. It's probably not necessary. All right. Yeah, I probably didn't need to do that. All right. So here we have matcha latte, hot matcha latte, which it just looks delicious. Let's try it. It's good. So actually, it's a little bit cooler. So maybe I should have heated the oat milk a little bit more. So maybe like a minute and 15 seconds. I mean, you can test out different temperatures. Now, this, I do taste the kind of a little bit more astringent, a little bit of kind of bracing flavor from the cooking grade matcha. You can sweeten this. So I did not put any sweetener in this. Sometimes in the shop, the lattes will be too sweet. So you can sweeten this to your taste. If you wanted to use some sugar, you wanted to use some honey, that is perfectly an option. It's good. Okay, I'm going to put this aside. The last thing we're going to make is some iced matcha. So to make this, the difference is, of course, the ice. Now, one thing that can be helpful, instead of using regular ice made of water, you can make matcha like we did at the beginning and pour that into an ice tray and make some ice cubes. So I've done that earlier. So I do have some matcha ice cubes here. So There is my cup. Same thing. We're gonna get 2 teaspoons. We'll put it in this sifter, strainer. Okay. And we'll sift that into there. Okay, then we'll get our 2 tablespoons of warm water. 1, 2, and our whisk here. Now, one bowl that I was going to use to show you how to make the matcha ice cubes, but in the interest of time, inside we'll skip that part since you know how to make it now. But this beautiful tea bowl by Matthew Metz, who is a potter in Alfred, New York. This is amazing stoneware. So, there's that. So we're making our matcha in a slurry here. And so see, these are matcha ice cubes that I made. I'll put those in there. And that way, as the ice cubes melt, they won't dilute your cold matcha latte and, make it all watery. So got our oat milk. Oh, no cap. All right, that was funny. Okay, so here we have our cup of oat milk. We'll have to find that cap. And we'll mix that up. It was a warm, sunny Rochester day today. It was perfect for a day like this. So here's your iced matcha. And again, you can sweeten this to your taste if you like. Delicious. So we made matcha, hot matcha latte, and cold matcha latte. Enjoy. Over here, we have some really beautiful examples of Japanese sword. This is a short sword over at the top, and underneath we have 9 hand guards, or suba as they're called in Japanese, and they're quite beautiful. These are from a long peaceful period in Japanese culture called the Edo period. And so these suba or hand guards are 300 or 400 years old, and you can see how lovely they are. They're so ornamented and decorative and quite beautiful. There is a tie-in to Japanese martial arts in Rochester, and there is the Itokai Sword Club that we'll talk a little bit about next.
Itokai Sword Club in Rochester, New York is a registered Iaido dojo of the AUSKF, the All United States Kendo Federation. Iaido is the art of simultaneously drawing and cutting with a Japanese sword, with all techniques ending by returning the sword to the scabbard, or saya. Iaido is both a physical and mental discipline, and its origin can be traced back over 400 years to the Muromachi period in Japanese history. Originally a combative discipline known as Iaijutsu, the practice has been refined over the centuries, evolving into the modern-day art of Iaido. Itokai Sword Club is led by Takanori Furuta Sensei, 5th Dan or Godan, and was founded 25 years ago in 1996 by Doug Blue Sensei. Itokai Sword Club looks forward to the future when all of us may gather together safely, and we may demonstrate Iaido techniques to the public in person. To learn more about Iaido, there's a nicely filmed YouTube video titled The Art of Katana Wielding, which gives a 7-minute glimpse into an Iaido dojo in Japan. Itokai Sword Club's website address with contact information is www.itokai.com.
I'm going to show you how to make an origami paper ball. So I'm using origami paper, but you don't have to use origami paper. You can use any sheet of paper you want, and I'll show you how to get a nice square out of a regular size piece of 8.5 by 11 paper too. So if you want to make it out of this paper, you will just fold a triangle. Make sure your corners line up and it's nice and straight. When you're folding, you want to push to the middle first and then out to the edges. Okay? And then you'll see you have this part left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over and I'm just going to fold it so that I can take that part off. So line up the edges, and again push out to the middle and then down to the edges. And you want to push on that with your fingernail on both sides so that you can tear it off. You can open it up, and if you want you could fold it back and forth a few times. I like to just crease it with my fingernail. Then you can just tear that right off, and now you have a perfect square that you can make a ball with. And here's another little trick. If you want to make a small one, you can do the same thing with your little scrap. You can make another triangle here and tear off this edge and try and make a really tiny paper ball. So you can make any size ball you want with whatever size paper you want. But I'm going to show you how to do it on the origami paper because it has different designs on both sides. Here, I'll use this one because it's white on the other side, and then you can see better how to fold it. So we're going to start by folding this in half. So line up your corners. Push in the middle and then out to the ends. You don't have to push hard to crease this one. And then you're going to open that up and you're going to fold it up so you're making a cross in the middle with the folds. Okay, then you open that up. Now you're going to hold it like a diamond and you're going to fold the bottom up to the top to make a triangle. Get the points lined up, push down to the middle and then out to the sides. Open it up. You're going to rotate it and you're going to do the same thing so that now you're going to make a crease going across here. Fold the bottom point to the top point. Line it up, push down to the middle, and then out to the sides. So now if you open it up, you see you have a lot of lines going across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You should have 8 lines, okay? You want to go ahead and fold in half again, and this is going to be the trickiest part of this, making this ball. You want to stick your finger in one half, hold it down in the middle. You want to stick your finger in and let that point come up, and you're going to push it. So you're just going to push it to make a triangle. I'm going to show you again how to do that on the other side. And you're just going to fold that down. We're going to fold it over, and you see you have this square here. You're going to lift this up, hold it here so that this doesn't all open up. You hold it down and push this corner over so that you're making a triangle. Okay? Push down and make the fold. Now the rest is pretty simple. You're going to take, if you look, you're going to have 4 kind of flaps. It looks kind of like a pyramid almost. You're going to take the flaps and the loose flaps, and you're going to fold those points up to the top. You're going to do that with all 4 of them. And then fold it over, do the same thing. Okay, so now this is what you have. You have a center point and then the 4 points all folded to the top. You're going to take each of the, if you hold it like a diamond, each of these corner points, and you're going to fold it to the midline. 4 of them. 1, 2, turn it over and do the same thing. 3 and 4. And you do want to make sure that you don't cross over. Don't fold it too much because it will prevent it from expanding. Now, here's another thing. You want to look, there's going to be a little pocket. If you see that little pocket in there, okay? There's a little pocket. You're going to take this bottom flap and you're going to push it in there. Just push it up as far as it'll go without bending it too much. I mean, you don't want to bend the point that's inside. And then you're just going to flatten that down. That's going to seal that in there. I'm going to show you again. So you'll see this is the folded side. There's a crease there, but on the other side there's a pocket. So you're going to take the point, you're going to push it in there, and then push down to fold. Okay, you don't want to push it, everything should lay flat, so don't put it up in too far and make it all uneven. Shouldn't be bunched up in there. So we're opening the flap, we're going to push that in, and we're going to do it the last time. All right. That's pretty much all the folding that needs to happen. Now you just have to blow it up. So what I want to show you is if you open this up, you'll see on the top there's a hole. So in that little hole is, you're going to hold this. See how I have my fingers are pushing in a little bit where all those folds are, and I'm going to pull it open. I'm pulling outward, and then I'm going to blow really hard in that hole, and hopefully it will inflate. So here goes. Again, here's the little hole. And there you have it. It's a little paper ball. And you can play with these. You can decorate them. You can take a piece of paper and draw on it, crayons, pencils, and then fold it into your triangle and make a ball. And you can take these outside and play with them if you want. So pretty easy. Give it a try. I think you'll have fun with it.